fam.news.
The International Sleep Products Association data is in, and we have 12 key findings from the Better Sleep Council's Mattress Buying Trends Report. The FAM podcast starts right now. Hey, are you a mattress retailer looking to supercharge your business? Introducing Podium, your secret weapon. I use it, I'm a huge fan of it, and with Podium's AI-powered lead conversion, you can engage with customers in seconds via text, making it feel like they're talking to a friend. But hey, that's just the beginning. Podium offers texting, payments, reviews, website chat, and more, all in one place. You've got to be the most responsive retailer to help customers solve those sleep problems in the moment. Harness the power of Podium today and start growing your business. Visit podium.com right now to learn more.
Welcome to the FAM podcast with Mark Kinsley. This is where the best in the bedding business get even better.
Hey fam, I want to give a big shout out to ISPA, the International Sleep Products Association, because they provide some incredibly valuable data and talking points that put the mattress industry in perspective for many of us. And I have a new report coming out from ISPA that focuses on the U.S. mattress market and beyond. But I want to focus on the U.S. mattress market today. And then we're going to get into 12 key findings from the Better Sleep Council's Trends Report. So to put it in perspective, this data is focused on shipped units, and it's reported by manufacturers in the U.S. and beyond. But mainly, I'm going to focus today on the U.S. mattress market. So this is not retail sales data. This is self-reported data that comes from the manufacturers who produce the products. And then they tell ISPA, yes, we shipped these units at these prices out of our factories. So conceivably, some of that product could be sitting in a distribution center or in a warehouse that a retailer owns. But it does give us some really firm perspective on the conditions of the marketplace. And also, I'm going to get into some of the information and the analysis from Jerry Epperson, who's been on the podcast before, an amazing thinker in mind who has been in this business for a long time. So let's get into some of the numbers right now. And I'm going to hit you with a lot of numbers. So you may want to get out a piece of paper and a pen if you want to follow along with some of this. But sometimes numbers don't always translate over the podcast. But let's start with putting it in context for where we're at today. So the value of units and dollars. So we're going to talk about dollars and units. So right now we are down 7.3% in 2023 over 2022. Now I know we're going back in time a little bit here, but there's a lagging effect to round up the data and provide the comparison. So right now we are down 7.3% in dollars, and we're down 8.2% in units. So let's just break it down, fifth grader style. So in 2023, fewer mattresses were sold compared to 2022, and that number of units is down by 8%. So the money that we made selling mattresses in 2023 was down 7%. So that means the factories in the US made and sold fewer mattresses. The number was about 26.4 million mattresses, which is down about 9%. So the prices, the average unit selling price actually went up a little bit. It went up just above 2%. So mattress, the value, the dollar amount that we're selling the mattresses went up a little bit. And that has, an impact on the total dollars that we're making, here in the industry. So that kind of sets the stage for, at a macro standpoint, we're down 7-8% depending on dollars or units. So not great. I was talking to some people. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got my mattress mentorship mastermind hat on, and it was very fascinating. We had one of our virtual events recently, and we got into the conditions in the market. And it was fascinating because on one hand, from a manufacturer perspective, a manufacturer that sees a lot of different retailers, hundreds of retailers, they reported that their retailers were down anywhere between 10 and 40%. Between 10 and 40%. So think about where you're at right now here, midway through 2024. Are you down 10 to 40%? Meanwhile, another really strong retailer that is part of the group reported that they are currently up 44%. And then they talked about what they've done, from going to Dream Camp and Sleep Summit and being part of the Mattress Mentorship Mastermind program and being intentional about some of the stuff they were doing. They kind of broke down why they think they're up 44%. But that delta is fairly pronounced when you talk about being up 40% versus being down 40%. So I want you to think about where you're at. But from an average standpoint, it's 7-8% down 2023 versus 2022. Now, let's get into some of the key findings from the Better Sleep Council. I used to serve on the Better Sleep Council. Shout out to all my former members and the people that serve on there right now. Mary Helen, Paris, the entire team. Thank you for everything you do to get this data to us, because it helps us understand what's happening with the consumer. What I just reported was more on the industry side, like manufacturing and actual dollars and units. Now let's talk about the consumer. And this is where we may want to make a few notes, do some double red underlines. So in the past 2 years, more people, so I'm going to go through, this is number one, I'm going through 12 key findings. In the past 2 years, more people have reported buying mattresses. So if we're down, call it, 8% in units shipped, then that means a lot of people reporting that they bought in the past couple of years probably bought in 2021 or 2022. Number two, the money that we made from selling mattresses is down about 7%. Oh, sorry. Back up. I had my wrong number two. Number two, types of mattresses. So what types of mattresses are people buying? More people now sleep on spring or hybrid, which is a mix of springs and specialty foam mattresses, than any other type. So hybrids and springs are trending upward. Number three, shopping online. More people are okay with buying mattresses online, but most still prefer to buy from a store where they can try the mattress first. So we've obviously seen big spikes in shopping online. Then you saw some plateaus. And then when COVID hit, you saw another big spike. And then when that corrected, we saw that it kind of normalized in a sense. And those trend lines that were going gently up kind of went up and then they plateaued. And I remember looking at some data from goodbed.com years ago about, people reporting whether they wanted to buy online or buy in a store. And that had plateaued until COVID hit. So we're kind of back to, people are okay buying online, but most want to try it in the store first. So number four, price perception. This is kind of interesting. People think good mattresses cost less now than they did before. So whatever's happened in advertising or maybe even product quality increases, people are like, a good mattress costs less than it did before. Number five, satisfaction. How happy are people with their mattresses? More people than before are happy with their current mattresses. So again, price perception, satisfaction, all of that probably bakes into quality in some capacity. And I would say, just from armchair quarterbacking it, we've seen quite a decline in imports. And at one time, imports were very low quality. So I think maybe some of that has to do with price perception being lower, because we kind of went into a trough there for a while. But then once those imports started drying up, better made quality products were being produced here in the US. People are happy with their mattresses. Okay, quick recap. So we got five under our belt. More people are buying mattresses in the past 2 years. They're buying hybrids and springs. They're okay shopping online, but they want to try before they buy. And they think a good mattress costs less. And generally, people are happy with their current mattresses. So those are our five so far. So number six, why do people replace mattresses? What's driving that purchase? Most people replace their mattresses because they are uncomfortable and worn out. And then also they're bringing up health and comfort. And if you listen to last week's podcast, which I encourage you to go back and do, I wrote a piece about how I think the mattress industry can have a global impact on sleep health and wellness. And so if people are talking about health in relation to a mattress, that's a good thing for us. Number seven, advertisements influence. 1/3 of people started shopping for a mattress because they saw an ad, and usually it was a sale. Now, for as much as I, want us to focus on sleep health and wellness, I do know and I acknowledge very clearly that driving people into the market with sales and discounts and deals and promotions is what works. And then once they're in the market for a mattress and they're talking to a well-educated salesperson and they talk about sleep, that's when the average tickets increase. And shameless plug, if you're watching on YouTube, I got my sleep balloon. You can get your people Drift Sleep Guide certified, the new program the fam launched with Dr. Kimberly Lemke, which is amazing. We've got about 30 people that are signed up so far, working their way toward being Sleep Guide certified so that you can have those conversations with confidence when a consumer does come in, because people are thinking about their health. Number 8, we're talking about the 12 key findings from the Better Sleep Council's Mattress Buying Trends Report. Number 8, try before they buy. Most people think it's important to feel and try a mattress before they buy it. Not surprising to many people that listen to this podcast. Not surprising to anybody that's made a bad purchase, whether it was a couch or a mattress. Once you get it in your house, it's hard to get it out. So you want to make sure you're making a good decision. People are corroborating that. Number 9, where do people get their information when they're buying a mattress? Most people get their information from visiting the stores and search engines online. Not a big shocker. I think most people are starting a lot of the search process online. That's going to inform, where they go. Maybe it's a store that's nearby, and maybe they're going to look at a little bit of product information. But I think a lot of people start online, then they hop into the stores. Not a big shocker. Now, why do they choose a certain store? I saw some data from Esquire Advertising. Eric Grinley shared this with us. They were seeing that the average consumer was only visiting 1.6 stores whenever they were buying furniture and mattresses. That is dramatically lower than the more than 4 stores they had previously reported. So that made it all the more important that your sales team needed to be trained up to close. So that data, and we need to get updates on that piece of the data, but people were visiting far fewer stores. And that's probably because they're doing a lot of research ahead of time. But once they were in that decision-making phase, why did they choose a certain store? Free delivery, free pickup of the old mattress, and easy returns are the top reasons people bought from a specific store. So whenever they come in to buy a mattress, they want that free delivery, they want that free pickup and removal, and they want the returns to be easy if something happens. So if you can check the boxes on that one, what you're essentially saying to the consumer is, we're going to give you an assurance of an outcome and a frictionless buying process and removal process. Number 11, brand loyalty. Brand loyalty, is it a thing? Most people do not stick to one mattress brand, and they don't feel like they know a lot about the different brands. 2/3 of people have a different brand of mattress than they did before, and they switch brands because of lower prices and better brand reputation. So that's kind of interesting because people don't know a lot about different brands, but once they get into it, they're open to switching. Most people don't have that brand loyalty. Now, maybe 1/3 of them do. That's not a bad number. But whenever people get into the mattress market, they're looking at what's new, what's out there, what should I be paying attention to, and they're open to switching. So that brings us to number 12. And I'm going to do a quick recap rundown for you here, for those of you playing along at home. Research before buying. Most people do some research before buying, usually about prices and, can you guess it, customer reviews. So the type of research they're doing before buying is they're looking at the prices, they're comparing prices, and they're looking at customer reviews. So they have that third-party endorsement. Somebody's done this. I'm not alone. I'm not going to make a decision that somebody hasn't at least experienced. 40% of people look up information about mattress brands before they buy, and 40% of people choose stores that have a wide selection of brands, So that's our quick rundown. Now, so those are the 12 key findings from the Better Sleep Council's Mattress Buying Trends Report. And then I gave you some data about the general conditions of the market from 2022 to 2023. Now, I want to have a few call outs and highlights from the man, the myth, the legend, Jerry Epperson, who is an analyst and has been in this business for a long time. Very, very wise. One of the things he said, here's his pull quote: "Sadly, we need to wade through this lackluster economy, remnants of inflation, multiple global wars, and the horrors of horrors, a presidential election." So basically, Jerry's saying, hey, we can look at these trends, but here's where we're at today. We are in a really tough economy. Inflation is real. Global wars are real. And then we're going to be in the middle of a presidential election, which creates a lot of uncertainty for people, and they gobble up a lot of ad revenue. So you take that inventory out, and the availability to mattress and furniture retailers declines. Now, here's the good news. Jerry says, in his opinion, the mattress industry is well positioned for a multi-year recovery thanks to an extreme need for additional dwellings as the population continues to grow, especially among the younger population under 40. And I've heard this time and time again. I live in Bentonville, Arkansas. It's the 18th fastest growing metro in the US. The housing constraints here are absolutely cinched down. And there are lots of people, especially younger people, that want to move here because it's a really cool town. It's the mountain biking capital of the world, hundreds of miles of trails. So we're seeing this and experiencing it firsthand. But what this does is, once we have the ability to create more housing, to produce more housing, you've got a lot of demand there, especially in a population under 40 that's ready to buy their homes, spend their money, have their kids, and all those changes that typically happen influence, somebody buying a mattress. So, okay, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Head over to LinkedIn, drop me a note, mark@thefam.com. What do you think about the conditions we're in and the 12 key findings from the Better Sleep Council's Trends Report? I'll run them down for you here one more time. More people are buying mattresses in the past 2 years. They're buying hybrids or springs. They're shopping online, but they really want to try before they buy. They think a good mattress costs less than it did before. People are generally satisfied. They replace a mattress because it's uncomfortable, worn out, or it's a health and comfort reason. A third of people said, I bought a mattress because I saw an ad. That's what actually drove them into the buying process. They want to try before they buy. They get a lot of information from visiting stores and search engines. They choose a certain store because of free delivery, free pickup of the old mattress, easy returns. Brand loyalty, not so much of a thing anymore. 2/3 of people have a different brand of mattress than they did before, and they switch because of lower prices and better brand reputation. And a lot of people are doing research before they buy a mattress, looking at customer reviews and prices. That is the rundown. Thank you again to the Better Sleep Council. Thank you to the International Sleep Products Association for being part of this industry, shaping it, guiding us, and giving us these talking points and this data. Does this affect how you think about what you're going to do in your business next? All right. Make sure and subscribe on Spotify. Make sure and subscribe on Apple. Leave us a review, and then head over to thefam.com, because our email list is going to be filled with information such as this, giving you that data to chew on and helping you understand, is our business normal? All right. Thanks so much, fam. We will catch you here on the podcast next Monday. In the meantime, make sure and connect with us on LinkedIn. And don't forget, Sleep Summit 2024 is happening October 8th through the 11th. We are going to sell out of VIP tickets for sure. We want to pack that place. Our theme is Back to the Future of Sleep. Can't wait to see you there.